Welcome to the Third Time podcast, the place where football doesn't end at the final whistle. This is Alyssa with you, and today we revealed the real reason behind Arsenal's unexpected defeat to Newcastle and have special guest Mark to break down all the details. Buckle up, it's a hot third half ahead.
All right, so Newcastle's win against Arsenal, huh? Everyone wants to break this one down.
Yeah, big game.
Definitely not just any win, though, right? We were digging into the match reports. And,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
This was their third win over Arsenal at home in the last 4 seasons.
Wow.
Really impressive stuff.
Really makes you think, how would they pull it off?
That's what we're here for, right? And from what I saw, it looked like pure tactical genius from Eddie Howe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He had Arsenal figured out. Absolutely.
What was the key for you?
I think he targeted their left back,
Interesting.
really designed the attack to exploit that weakness.
So it was all about Anthony Gordon and his speed and trickery on that right wing then.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gordon was fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it was more than that. It was like the whole Newcastle team was overloading that side.
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Pulling Arsenal players out of position, opening up those spaces for Gordon to cut inside or whip in those dangerous crosses.
They even had Trippier, their right back, overlapping at times.
Exactly. Adding to that pressure. A well-coordinated strategy, no doubt. Really paid off.
Yeah, they were clinical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I've noticed, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
It seems like Eddie Howe's teams, they always seem to overperform against the big clubs. Like they've got their number.
I think you're right. It's definitely a trend we're seeing. It's like they elevate their game when the pressure's on. And you know what? Howe actually mentioned this in the program notes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that playing the best teams often brings out the best in Newcastle. They actually thrive on the challenge.
I love that mentality.
Yeah.
And speaking of rising to the occasion, we got to talk about Alexander Isak.
Oh, absolutely.
Scored the winner, constant threat the whole game. Such a dynamic player.
And this is going to make your jaw drop.
Uh-oh, what is it?
Mikel Arteta, Arsenal's manager, he was actually really keen on signing Isak before Newcastle got him.
No way, seriously.
Yeah, Arteta was a big admirer.
So the guy who scored the winner was someone Arteta actually wanted on his team. It's like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it's wild.
But what made Isak so effective against Arsenal specifically? They've got a solid defense.
Well, for me, it was his movement. Just exceptional. He was like a ghost out there.
Ghost, huh?
Yeah, he was drifting between spaces, always finding those pockets behind the defensive line.
I see. Making himself so hard to track.
Exactly. The Arsenal defenders just couldn't handle it. You could see the frustration on their faces.
It was pretty clear. Okay, so we've got tactical mastery from Howe, a star performance from Isak. Can't forget that.
Right.
But what about the midfield battle? Everyone's been talking about Declan Rice, Arsenal's big signing. But he was pretty quiet this game, wasn't he?
Yeah, unusually quiet for him. And I think a lot of the credit goes to Newcastle's midfield trio.
Okay, yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, and Joe Willock, they completely shut him down. Relentless pressing, cutting off passing lanes.
Just giving him no time to breathe.
Exactly. Didn't give him any space to dictate the play like he usually does.
Hold on a second now. This is ringing a bell. Wasn't Guimaraes another player Arteta was interested in?
He was. It's like Arteta's got a shopping list and Newcastle keep buying all the players he wants.
Uh-huh. That's hilarious. But, it really goes to show you,
Yeah.
It's not always about spending big money on the big names, right?
Exactly right.
A well-drilled unit, they can be just as effective. And Newcastle's midfield, they were just dominant.
Yeah, they were on another level.
Something that really surprised me was just how many unforced errors Arsenal were making.
Oh, yeah, it was strange to see.
They're usually so controlled,
Possession-based, very patient.
Exactly. But in this match, they were just giving the ball away left and right.
Like it was a hot potato.
Mm-hmm.
And that played right into Newcastle's hands. They disrupted their rhythm, forced turnovers, easy counterattacks.
Couldn't have asked for a better scenario.
Couldn't agree more. It was a very, very uncharacteristic performance from Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And speaking of uncharacteristic, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, right? Martin Odegaard, the captain, was out injured.
Right. Big miss for them.
How big of an impact do you think that had on their performance?
Well, Ødegaard is their creative spark, He's the one who makes them tick. And without him, they really lacked their usual fluidity and struggled to create those clear-cut chances.
That's what I was thinking, too. They just weren't as dangerous.
Nope, not at all. It's hard to say for sure how much his absence contributed to the loss, but it was definitely a factor.
Definitely a factor. I think we can all agree on that. So let's recap a bit. We've got Newcastle outsmarting Arsenal tactically, exploiting their weaknesses, and then capitalizing on those mistakes. And they're doing all of this without having to worry about one of Arsenal's key players.
It's almost like everything went right for Newcastle and everything went wrong for Arsenal.
Exactly. A recipe for success.
Right, absolutely. A textbook example. It's funny, this match really highlights the impact of a home crowd.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially against a top team like Arsenal.
Right.
Remember, this is Newcastle's third win against them at St. James's Park in the last 4 seasons.
That's right. It's like Arsenal just can't figure out that stadium.
Yeah, there's something about that place that throws them off their game.
The Newcastle fans were definitely a factor. You could feel the energy from the stands. Gave the home side a real boost.
Absolutely. And we have to talk about some individual performances, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Newcastle's Lewis Hall, he had a fantastic game.
He did. He was everywhere.
Made a crucial block against his former teammate, Mikel Merino.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Likely saved a goal there.
Yeah, big moment. Seems like Eddie Howe knows how to get the best out of his players.
He does. It's impressive. I mean, we've already talked about Gordon, Isak, the midfield trio.
All firing on all cylinders.
Were there any other standout performances that caught your eye?
Oh, tons. I mean, Sven Botman, he was a rock at the back.
Oh, yeah, Botman was immense.
Key interceptions, tackles, really shut down a lot of Arsenal's attacks.
Fabian Schär had a good game, too.
Yeah, solid performance, clearing danger whenever he needed to. And we can't forget Nick Pope in goal.
He made some huge saves, especially in the second half when Arsenal were pushing for that equalizer.
Yeah, kept them in it.
It was like Newcastle had an answer for everything Arsenal threw at them.
They really did. But, Arsenal still had their chances.
Oh, yeah, they had a couple.
Declan Rice had a golden opportunity late in the game.
He did, that header.
I thought it was in.
Me too. Saka put in a fantastic cross right onto Rice's head, perfect position to score.
I know.
But somehow he couldn't direct it on target.
What a let-off for Newcastle.
Well, massive. If Rice had buried that header, we might be having a very different conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Those moments can completely change the narrative of a match.
100%. Football, it's a game of inches. Sometimes it comes down to those split-second decisions, those moments of brilliance, or those missed opportunities.
And speaking of missed opportunities, we should talk about Arsenal's substitutions.
Yeah, what about them?
Arteta brought on some big names. Zinchenko, Nemeri, White, and Jesus. But it didn't seem to have much of an impact.
I see what you mean. I think on paper, those substitutions made sense.
They did. Fresh legs, more attacking options.
Exactly. Arteta was trying to inject some energy and creativity into his team, get something going. But by that point, Newcastle had already disrupted Arsenal's rhythm and were defending deep.
Compact, organized.
Exactly, making it really difficult for Arsenal to break them down, even with those fresh legs on the pitch.
It almost felt like Arsenal were chasing the game, while Newcastle were happy to sit back, absorb that pressure, and protect their lead.
You hit the nail on the head. It's all about that tactical battle,
Yeah.
Eddie Howe, he recognized that his team was in a strong position, and he adjusted his approach. He told his players to defend resolutely, and they did it perfectly.
They executed the game plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a smart and effective move.
I mean, this match just goes to show you how important adaptability is in football, right? Both managers had to make adjustments based on what was happening on the pitch. And in the end, it was Howe who made the more effective changes.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about the starting 11. It's about how you react to the flow of the game.
And that's what makes a great manager. It's crazy how much the momentum can shift in a game like that.
Oh, yeah, it's a roller coaster.
But Newcastle, they really shut it down in the end.
Defensively, they were immense.
I mean, it makes you think, was this just a bad day at the office for Arsenal, or is there something more we should be worried about?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I mean, they were missing Ødegaard. They made some uncharacteristic errors. Those substitutions didn't really work out.
Well, we've seen Arsenal at their best this season.
Oh, absolutely.
Playing with so much confidence, fluency.
But this match, it showed us they can be vulnerable.
Especially without a key player like Ødegaard.
Exactly. Makes you wonder how they'll bounce back.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. But, we should talk about the other side of this, too.
Newcastle.
Yeah, could this be a turning point for them?
Interesting thought.
They've been a bit up and down this season.
For sure.
But this win against a top team like Arsenal could be massive for their confidence.
It's a statement win.
Exactly. It shows they have the quality, the tactical awareness to compete with the best.
And let's not forget, they've got that financial backing now.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Imagine what they could do in the transfer market.
If they add a few more pieces to the squad, watch out.
This match really has thrown up some interesting questions, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what makes football so great, right? It's unpredictable.
You never know what's going to happen next.
So after this deep dive into Newcastle's win, what's the biggest thing that stands out to you?
I think for me, it's a reminder that football is a team sport.
Okay, like that.
Yes, individual brilliance matters, but in the end, it's that collective effort, that shared belief that wins matches. And Newcastle, they had it all in spades.
They were on a mission.
Exactly. And also the tactical side of things.
Yeah, what about it?
Eddie Howe, he really impressed me.
Me too.
He clearly did his homework, knew Arsenal's weaknesses, and exploited them perfectly. A real masterclass in tactics.
Couldn't agree more. And of course, we can't forget Isak.
What a story, right?
Scoring the winning goal against the team whose manager wanted to sign him.
That's gotta feel good.
Talk about making a statement.
He certainly did. So we've looked at the tactics, the performances, the surprises, all the twists and turns.
It's been a wild ride.
But we want to leave you with a couple of big questions.
Hit us with them.
Is this loss a sign of something deeper for Arsenal? Or are they going to bounce back? And is this Newcastle season to really push for the top four? Or even higher?
What do you think? Let us know.